I was an only child, and so I really always hoped that I could have a large family, as did my husband. So we were very, very thankful that we were blessed with, we would have liked even more, but at least our 7 healthy babies. And what you mentioned before, the birth of a baby, it's just fantastic when you can both be present and witness the birth of this little one, this gift from God. As far as the planning, the only possible connection would be nursing the babies. That supposedly there's some kind of natural spacing in there, but we really weren't that concerned about. We did want a lot of children, and you know, did have them. So.
Well, in my case, I have to confess there was family planning. When we were courting, at one point, it was a very difficult situation. My wife didn't want to have anything to do with me. And one day we were driving back from the beach, and I somehow mentioned that I'd like to have 12 children. She looked at me and said, "Ha," as if she had something to say. At that moment, I knew that I had a chance. So the family planning took place before our wedding. I wanted at least a lot of children, and for me it was inconceivable. It was simply inconceivable to raise the very idea of family planning. There was something so natural and fundamental that if a man loves a woman and a woman loves a man in marriage, that there would be no reservation in the self-donation. And I think in the course of years, you find out the significance of the teaching of the church, especially if a man reserves himself and refuses to give himself completely to his wife, and if the wife accepts that, there's a little signal that goes out that she's not willing to make demands on him to give himself completely to her, to be devoted. And I think this is one of the reasons you have a culture in which it is assumed that we take our pleasures in marriage and the wife doesn't demand the complete submission of the husband, the complete devotion. I think, and then it begins to work the other way. So I think that this whole notion of contraception, of reserving oneself, not giving oneself fully, is one of the reasons that we have problems in our culture and especially in our marriage. So in retrospect, I think it is a great boon to marriage, to the mutual self-donation of the couples, if there is no reservation. If you recognize that you're in a situation where the very nature of spousal love demands this openness, that this openness is sanctioned by God, also demanded by God, you're open to God, you're open to your wife, you're open to your children. And you're open to the fact that you may not be happy in this life, but yet you have a calling.
I think this is an area, at least in our case, where you have to place your trust, we did, into God's hands, that he will take care of everything. And with that faith that we had, it worked out that way. And so while I've read a lot about natural family planning, which I think is different from what was once known as the rhythm method,
Definitely.
I'm glad to see that they're pushing that aspect of it, because it's something that for some reason the doctors don't seem to want to talk about, but it's something that should be spoken of and let the people know that there is something out there that I think is workable with families, and you can enjoy life together much more, and place yourself in the trust of the Lord that everything will turn out as you would like, and that God will take care of it. So from that aspect, have you do you place yourself in God's providence that things will work out, and you place your trust in him to see you through all your trials or whatever may come your way?
I would say in our family that's absolutely true. I mean, I just think about the house that we presently live in. At the time we were living in a Cape Cod, and we had 7 children at that time, and things were necessarily rather crowded in a Cape Cod. And I had looked at this particular large home that was on the market, had been on the market for some time, and inconceivable as it may be, that house during the 3 years that I was accumulating enough to make a down payment was sold on 3 different occasions, and each time the deal fell through for one reason or another. I just feel the house was made for us. Some people would say, geez, what a lucky coincidence. I just say that's divine providence. And that situation has occurred. I don't believe I'm superstitious. I believe that that's just God has looked out for us. I mean, I think frequently things have not turned out well. I've lost a large case and have felt that things were just not going our way at all. And each time, either it has caused me to strive harder or it has pointed me in another direction. And whatever I lost in one instance has been more than met in